my name is Kayla Turner. I did this interview project to find out what women thought of how women are portrayed in music videos. I asked women between the ages of 20 to 50 how they think women are portrayed in country music videos, rock music videos, and hip-hop music videos, and this is what they had to say. How are women portrayed in country music videos?
So country is a little more complex because there's two sides of country based on gender, I suppose. Male country artists sexualize the women in the sense that they're often seen in bikinis. They sing about the honky tonk and drinking and partying, whereas the female country artists are portrayed as innocent. They sing about love, and they're often like appeal to teenage girls, I'd say. They project a more conservative appearance than the males portray the women as.
In country music videos, women are portrayed in a better light than in hip-hop videos. I think that there's two spectrums to country music, one being the innocent, like Taylor Swift, where she's wearing pretty little dresses and getting married, and then it's all happy and frilly, and then there's the other side, like Carrie Underwood, when she beats in that guy's car with a bat because she's a strong woman.
Women portrayed in country music, they're usually like a very strong sense to them, and like when they're singing country, they seem very powerful. Guys that sing country usually like speak very highly of women. Like any country song you hear by a guy, they speak highly of women. And then there's also the side where it's like a very polite country, which is, I mean, women are portrayed as maybe not as powerful as well.
With country music videos, mostly the female lead versus the male lead, you tend to see the female lead be usually by herself and portrayed as like strong and independent, while she has another romantic counterpart. Or with the male lead, you usually see him by himself, surrounded by a bunch of women that are scantily clad, and then it's more of a juxtaposition of the woman can be by herself, but then she also has a romantic counterpart, but then the man can be successful because he has all these women around him.
Well, I don't listen to a lot of country music either, but I feel like women in country are portrayed in a very standardized American ideal of what a woman should be. Not so much conservative, but I want to say there is this like American standard of what a country woman should be, and you know how she acts and how she behaves and what she performs on stage.
How women are portrayed in country music. I think that women are portrayed differently in videos based on their age. As Taylor Swift, who would go on stage dressed appropriately in some songs, whereas in some songs, due to her age, she would be half naked. However, you have someone like Dolly Parton, who's been around for a long time. Obviously, she's not going to be half naked in her videos because she's like 65 years old.
So country's genre of women, how they're portrayed. Southern Belle, innocent, but they do have power. Like right now in the country industry, it's like a bro fest. It's like they have all the guys are dominating the charts. The guys are the ones that the country little girls are going after, and the women are still able to hold their own, like in the same with rock and roll.
How are women portrayed in rock music videos?
Women in rock music videos are looked at as more of the background scene rather than in country or hip-hop, where they're a main part of the song or music. In the rock videos that I've seen, they're usually in the background, like partying behind the singer, or they're just basically the background.
Rock, the depiction of women in rock is usually dependent on whether or not the woman is the performer or whether or not the band consists of males. Women who are usually like the front woman of a band are usually depicted as being rebellious or breaking a social norm, being one of the guys even, because rock is considered like a harder type of music. You know, if they're playing an instrument, I mean, women are rarely seen playing like the drums, and if they're playing an instrument, they're considered as being like an independent woman who does her own thing. Whereas if the band is all male, women are often seen as an object of attraction, or they're sexualized within the video, usually via clothing or, you know, as seen as a love interest.
Women in rock are portrayed somewhat like hip hop, whereas they're not fully dressed. But I feel like in rock music, they're not looked down on. They're more of like a sidekick. Like, I have this attractive looking female and they use it to their advantage, whereas in hip hop, they kind of look down on the women and talk lesser of them.
With rock music videos, usually I can't really think of any generalization with the portrayal of the entire genre in terms of female versus male, but the 1975 music video Girls, while it is titled Girls, they show the band performing like in all black, and then they show their girl counterparts, and the girl counterparts are just in lingerie. So again, it's the whole male clothed and female unclothed.
I feel like women portrayed in rock are very strong personalities. I think they put themselves out there in a way that's very like grunge and, you know, independent, and you know, you don't see a lot of like dependency on, you know, male figures or anything like that. I feel like it's a very independent field in the music industry.
Okay, so rock and roll, I believe, is all based on whether the women are singing or if they're in the background. In rock and roll in the 80s, if you are a female singer, you might be in very tight clothing, with big hair and lots of makeup. But if you were in the backdrop of a male video, you were always half naked and laid across a sports car of some kind, like a Corvette or a Jaguar or something, to prove a point. Because most men in rock and roll want to see half naked women. They don't really care about the men singing. But nowadays, I think it just depends on, again, whether you're singing or whether you're in the back. Women are portrayed as sex objects.
So how women are portrayed in rock and roll, I would say they are more of like a so-called badass. They wear like their leather jackets and their boots, and they are standalone individuals. Like who can I refer to? Stevie Nicks. I mean, rock and roll, like Goddess. There is Janis Joplin. There's all these women that are strong individuals in the rock and roll like world, so they're able to stand on their own compared to the boys.
How are women portrayed in hip-hop music videos?
In hip-hop music videos, women are objectified and portrayed more as sex objects than as people. They're exploited, their bodies are exploited, and they're considered more of a man's object than a human being.
Women in hip hop are portrayed as like a trophy, kind of. Usually they're like not fully dressed, and they're more of like an accessory to the guy rather than like being a respectable woman.
Women in hip hop, I think, can be either portrayed in a very empowering way or in a very degrading way. And I think usually the artists who empower women are women themselves. So let's say like Rihanna or like Missy Elliott or Lauryn Hill. I feel as if those women have been very empowering in the portrayal of women. But very often, I think, when male rappers or male hip-hop artists rap about women or sing about women, it's in a very negative way. But that's not true for all male rappers or male hip-hop artists. But I definitely think that it can be a very empowering or very degrading. And I also believe that it's usually women who empower other women in the hip-hop industry.
I think women in hip-hop is probably the most controversial issue around the music industry. I definitely think that's the type of music where they're objectified the most, and a lot of them are portrayed as these video vixens, and I feel like the whole sex sells thing kind of comes more into play with that. So I can see why there's a lot of conflict around that area.
In hip hop, I don't watch a lot of hip hop videos or listen to hip hop music. But when I do catch it, I would say that most women in hip-hop videos, whether they're singing or in the back, are always half naked and they're always shaking their goodies. So I don't know if that's just hip-hop in general or just those particular songs, but I think that hip-hop feels that unless they're half naked, their music doesn't sell.
Women in hip hop, I think they're portrayed as like sex symbols. And they're more as like a arm candy, like side piece, instead of actually being like the center of hip hop, because you can't, like, there is no one iconic woman that's like the center of hip hop. There's the ones on the side like Beyonce, and then there's the other ones on the side like Nicki Minaj, but they're on the side. They're not like front and center.